Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, man?
Awesome. Hey, I remember you. You were the videographer at the boot camp.
Yes, sir. And I
Amazing.
filmed I filmed that coaching session that you did with Grant too.
Oh, you did. Fantastic. Great. Oh, I was in the zone then. So that
Oh
was
yeah, dude, that video's done really well.
has
Really good feedback on that.
great. That's fantastic,
How you doing, man? How's everything over there?
dude. I'm doing really well. Things are very different. It's a really weird time to be alive, to be in business, but no, I'm keeping really good.
That's good, man. That's good to hear.
Hey, how you doing, Grant?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
I'm so good. Great to see you. You look. I feel very underdressed right now with you in that suit.
It's because you are.
But great to see. Last
All
time,
right, you look great.
last time we met, you were in a polo shirt. So
Yeah. You never know with me,
great to see you, though. Thanks so much for taking the call.
You got it, buddy. Appreciate you, man.
That's great. So I know we've not got too much time. We're rolling. We're recording right now. So I'll just give a brief introduction and then we can get started.
Who's your audience again? Tell me who your audience is.
Yeah. So I've got an audience. I've got about 165,000 subscribers, and they're mostly entrepreneurs, real estate investors in the UK mostly, but we do have folks from the US, but mostly in the United Kingdom.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah. So last time you came on the channel, it did really well. We had over 100,000 views and got a lot of great feedback. When I was on your channel, that went well. People loved that video.
Yeah, that was great. That was great.
So yeah, so I think we'll have a good time. I've sent some questions over, but we can have a chat and it'll be fun.
Let's do it.
All right, awesome. Okay, so super excited. We've got Grant Cardone back on the channel. I'm sure you know who he is. If you don't, he is the founder of the 10X movement, which literally attracts tens of thousands of people to his stadium. Multi-millionaire. I've lost track of his net worth, but he is in the hundreds of millions. And friend, mentor to me. So Grant, thank you so much for coming back on the YouTube show.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for everything you're doing to help keep people inspired.
It's a very interesting time to be alive right now. Something that you've been saying a lot is never waste a good crisis or never waste a good recession. What do you mean by that?
Well, what happens in contractions like the one we're experiencing now, probably the most severe contraction, certainly in my lifetime, and maybe in the history, the last 100 years, possibly, right? Is everybody does what they do in a contraction. Not everybody, not everybody, but almost everyone goes into non-acceptance of the situation. They go to blame, conspiracy theories, denial. They get angry about it. They lose their job. They lose their position. They lose their targets. They become consumers more than ever before. And they lose track of, hey, where were you going? And so if 7 billion people yesterday, let's say 7 billion people a month ago were on track, big dreams, big goals, like everybody wanted to expand a month ago. Everybody had big dreams, big goals. They're going to change the world. They're going to get their finances right. They're going for whatever they're trying to go for, whether it's a dream house, a vacation, more freedom. And then boom, this thing hits and they're like, oh shit, I just want to go back to the way it was. So immediately there's a contraction, a mental contraction.
Yeah.
And people give up. I was just having this conversation yesterday. I'm like, look, I've been thinking too small the whole time. I'm telling myself this with two key staff people. And I should be thinking bigger right now, not smaller. How do I expand out into this, not contract smaller into this? So the first thing that happens is when you have 26 million people in the United States were let go in the last 4 weeks. I read something today that says the UK housing sales will get cut by 50 to 70% this year.
Yeah.
When that happens, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I just want to sell the 12 homes I sold last year now. If I could just hold on to those 12. No, you should be thinking about, how do I expand into this? Because if you're not asking the right questions, you will go in the direction of your journey. And if you're like, oh, I got to pull over right now, your journey wasn't to pull over. You were on a journey a month ago. You had dreams and goals. And so when a crisis comes, it's like a speed bump, a flat tire, You ran out of fuel. What do? Dude, you keep rolling. You fix the tire, you refuel, and you keep going. And so don't waste this moment, because we're going to pass. This is going to pass. Yeah. The question is, and you're going to get through it. That's the other thing I keep telling myself. Like, you're going to get through this. Everybody's going to get through this, Sam. The question is, when you get through it, on the other side, are you bigger and better and more confident, more unstoppable, or are you smaller, contracted, more scared?
Yeah. What do you think the potential opportunities are, like, practically? Because a lot of my guys are just saying, I mean, right now we're in lockdown, so we can't leave the house. Property prices are going to go down. What do you think practically? I mean, particularly in real estate, what are you doing right now in real estate?
Well, number one, you can go out. It's interesting to me how many people have just so easily given up on their freedom and just going into agreement with the regulations. This will be controversial right here.
I'm just thinking that.
So like, look how many people just said, oh, okay, I'll stay in. No, almost no one's challenging it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not staying in. I'm in my studio right now. I think they said I'm not supposed to be here. The police have been here like 3 times this week. And I got a security guy. So I said, yeah, tell him Mr. Cardone's inside. I'll tell him he's not supposed to be here. Like I'm not going to give up on my freedom. Okay. Like, I'm not going to give up on my ability to produce and to create. So if you're in residential, you're talking about residential primarily?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have to talk to a lot more people to sell one house.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to talk to hundreds of more people today in order to get one deal. So in the real estate space that I'm in today, there's not a lot of deals I can do right now because of the debt market. It's not because I'm still a buyer and there's still a seller, but the debt market, I need debt to do these deals. It's kind of seized up.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even that would create an opportunity, because if the debt market's not there, that means the debt market's not there for other people. So even when I say that, I'm like, oh, it's not there for them. What if I could do a deal with all cash? Or what if I could pull all the cash together to do a deal? There's going to be very few people that can do that. So again, the goal has to be important enough. Number one, the goal has to be important enough for you to get creatively, to get a creative push, because it's going to be a little harder to attain the target. But fewer people are going to be going for that target now today as well.
Yeah.
So the outflow has to be higher. You got to outflow more. You got to talk to more people. You got to get in front of more people right now than ever before. You're going to have to actually not just service people, but have something to sell people. You can't just be, I just want to talk to you through this. I've gotten more COVID emails, man, during this time. And it all starts off the same way. During COVID-19, I hope your family's well. I'm like, dude, I'm not reading your email because I need you to wish good stuff for my family. What can you do for me? How can you help me? How can we make money together?
Yeah. But then you say it's going to be a lot harder and you have to speak to a lot more people, but then you also say we need to think bigger. So,
well, yeah, because if it's going to be harder, bro, there better be some gold down there. If the ground's harder to pick in, there better be something underneath that ground. If the work's harder, the payoff ought to be bigger.
Yeah.
And when the payoff's not big enough, what happens is people quit.
Sure.
See, I'm confident this whole thing has got nothing to do with a virus. I'm confident this is completely about wealth redistribution. Whack the people that were half committed. If you were not 100% committed to your task like Elon Musk is, Elon Musk he's not stopping anything.
Yeah. So this is almost going to draw a line under the sand between the people that are the real action takers, the real hard workers, the real committed people, and those that are not really serious.
The people that have partial commitments just gave up. The people that have 75% commitment, most of them have given up. I mean, you have to be obsessed or be average.
Yeah.
You have to be completely insane in a good way.
But then the reward is going to be bigger.
You got to be this guy right here.
Yeah.
Ain't no virus going to stop him.
What do you think is going to happen with the real estate market, generally speaking, over the next year or two, or even 10?
Well, what real estate market are you talking about?
I guess to start with, because I know we're in different countries with different types of deals. The types of deals that you're doing in the United States. What are you thinking? What are you thinking there?
Well, I have a $1.5 billion worth of real estate today. It'll be worth $3 billion in 10 years.
So you think long term things are going to continue rising.
100%. Like now, if I owned a $30 million house down in Miami, I don't think it's going to be worth 30 million 10 years from now. I think it's going to be worth less. So single family, small deals, duplexes and fourplexes in America probably aren't going to be worth more. Maybe they are, but they're not going to be worth much more. And they're going to be hard to keep. There'll probably be a lot of different owners between now and then because they won't cash flow. If it doesn't cash flow, it's going to see. The reason I ask you what kind of real estate is because there's so many different kinds of real estate. There's residential, single family home. There's 2 units, commercial, 4 units, commercial, 6 units, 8 units, commercial that we have over here. There's townhomes. There's retail. There's strip centers. There's office. There's industrial. There's storage. And then there's residential multifamily that I buy. The multifamily, there's office buildings. Office is going to get hurt. Retail is going to get crushed. Strip centers are going to get destroyed. Movie theaters will cease to exist. Industrial will continue to expand. Apartment residential will do great as long as it's great properties, great amenities, affordable. The stuff that you guys buy over there, it's going to depend on location.
Yeah. I totally agree.
If I lost my job and I'm over leveraged on my house, I bought my house in London a year ago and I owe too much on it because I put 3% down when I bought it. You're underwater for the next 5 years. Yeah. So now the question is going to be, how bad do you want to live there? If you lost your job, you're not going to be able to live there because you're going to lose the house because you're not going to be able to make the payment.
Do you think there's going to be more people going into entrepreneurship because as people lose their jobs, do you think people are going to try and set it up? Or what do you think is going to generally happen to the economy?
Yeah, they could. But I mean, I don't know that that's a good thing. Now I'm going to work for myself. Okay, well, you could, but doesn't mean it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because look, you don't want to do this alone. That is one thing that I would tell everybody. Do not try to do this. This is going to be a depression, not a recession. You don't want to go this by yourself. You need a team right now. So whoever you had on your team, if you didn't have a team and you're by yourself, you need a team. And you need a strong team. You need somebody with money, courage, and products. So I wouldn't, before I go by myself, I'm going to find somebody. If I was 30 years old today, I'd find somebody like me and say, hey, I'm going to go help. I'm going to go work for Grant for nothing and add value to his company, meaning revenue. I'm going to add revenue to his company and I'm going to figure out how to get a piece of his company because I add so much value.
Yeah. How do you, what advice would you give to business owners that have got teams right now under them and are looking to survive through this or to get through this? I mean, it's as a business person myself with lots of staff, there's definitely opportunities, but it's also been challenging with people not being able to have an office space. You know, it's definitely come with its challenges. It's also given a lot of opportunities to grow and to adapt and to think we've taken a lot of our training programs online, which is something that I've been meaning to do for ages, but just haven't had the time. So it's been a blessing in one sense to be able to really just rethink and plan and grow, to do all the things that you want to do, but you don't usually have time to do. But I mean, what sort of advice would you give to business owners right now with a staff and with a team?
So now you have to be better. You got to be a better boss and a better leader. The first thing I would suggest that people do is find out who and what they need to cut. The cut's really important. The reason you want to cut early is because you want everybody that you're going to stay with to, number one, know that how serious you are, and number two, to properly invest your resources into people that you can finish the trip with. And maybe you bring those other people that you cut back later, but you're not bringing anybody back if you don't make the trip.
Yeah.
So if I get a flat tire, what do I do? Oh, that tire's been so loyal to me, I have to keep it. You know, it's interesting how people treat a car different than their business. You know, dude, look, I'm on a trip and a car lets me down. I'll leave the car on the side of the road. I don't care. Get out of the car, go get me another car. I'm not invested in that car. I'm invested in my trip. You see the difference? Yeah. I don't care about the tire. Now, when I say this, people think I'm all cold and everything, but I'm committed to the mission. And I know along the way, sometimes you lose people. If you're not losing people along the way, then you're in a fairy tale. That's not a real business. So the first thing I would say is you need to look at who and what you must cut.
Yeah.
Then you have a conversation with the rest of the staff. Hey guys, this is real. Ladies and gentlemen, have a sermon with them. I need your outbound to go higher. If you can't keep your outbound up, you're going to lose your job, just like those people did. We no longer sell these products because they don't work anymore. Our pricing structure had to change. You literally should have, in the last 4 weeks, you should have changed all your pricing, all your structures, all your delivery, all your offers, maybe even renamed them.
Mm.
And then the third thing you have to do now is you have to, once you have that conversation with your staff, the third thing is you have to daily demand higher output from your people. Not more income production, but more outbound production.
What's the difference?
So I can't expect my guys to get more deals right now or more money.
Sure.
But I can expect that they'll push harder.
Yeah.
I can't insist that they get gold out of every shovel.
Yeah.
But I can demand, guys, I need you to hit the ground more.
Yeah. Why do you say about changing everything around, changing your pricing structure? Why is that important right now?
Well, because look, in February, before this all happened, we required a $4,000 startup fee for our online corporate program.
Yeah.
I also, in my real estate, I required a application fee, like all these fees. As soon as this happened, I'm like, oh, that's off the table. Startup fee, $4,000. If you ask for it, because we paid our salespeople in that startup fee.
Yeah.
So they were highly incentivized to get it. I said, that's gone. They're like, oh my God, you can't sell, we have a 0 startup fee right now. 0.
Yeah.
And because I don't want to lose a deal over money right now. Number 2 is, like, you got to be aggressive right now. Every dollar counts here.
Yeah.
And I'd rather a customer with no margin than not having a customer.
Yeah.
Because in a contraction, what you want to do is you want to go for customer market share. I'm trying to expand into the market. Our real estate, for instance, we're 96% rented in April. The country's 84. How am I 12 points higher than everybody else? Aggressive leadership.
Yeah. One of the things I've noticed about the way you run your business is you do adapt fast. When something changes, you're happy to change something around rather than thinking, who am I going to upset? Who am I going to offend? You just say, it needs to be done for the business. And you just make fast.
Yeah, you see, the guys that we don't actually adapt. We create the environment and let it move toward us. So I cut 42 jobs the first 2 days this happened. I cut our pricing on all our products the first 2 days this happened. I cut my salary from every company to 0. I cut every executive salary. This was before anybody had a layoff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait 4 weeks when this is popular.
Yeah.
You know, 26 million. I cut 42 people before there was 26 million people laid off in America. So by the way, like everybody that hates on me because I cut people, before you start hating on me, remember, you ain't buying shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, you didn't order anything. You canceled your order. You returned the stuff you hadn't paid for. You're returning stuff you didn't need. You're not making your car payment. You're not making your house payment. How many people does that cut?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm paying everyone. Yeah. Okay, my mortgages, I owe $1.1 billion. I pay my mortgage every month.
Yeah.
I pay my property taxes every month. I pay my utilities, my electric bill. I got 500 employees. I had a guy on an interview the other day said, we didn't cut anybody. I said, how many people do you have?
Yeah.
15. I said, bro, I cut 3 times more people than you have employed.
Yeah.
And I still have 35 times more people than you have employed right now. So you didn't cut anybody because you don't have enough people. I heard a very popular internet guy. I haven't let go of anyone. He doesn't have any employees. None. He has 0 employees. And he's sitting on the internet saying, I'm fortunate enough not to have had to fire anyone. Bro, he don't pay anybody.
Yeah.
So Disney's cut 100,000 people. Tillman Fertitta cut 45,000 people. I mean, it's all over the place, right? But they hire a lot of people too.
Yeah. And you're right, though, what you say. If people aren't going to the hairdressers right now, then they're firing their hairdresser.
You're firing somebody. My wife reminded me about this.
Mm.
You know, so, you know, I've given away, I've got a charity event right here in town. We funded the entire charity event. We had a bunch of firefighters and policemen in town. We funded all their meals. So the restaurants, by the way, giving it to the policemen's one thing. That's a nice thing and all. But buying the stuff from the restaurant because they can't deliver in the restaurant is keeping restaurants in business.
Who do you think is going to go bust this year? Do you think that there's going to be a lot of companies that do go bankrupt?
100%.
What kind of companies or what kind of entrepreneurs do you think this year are going to have to end up closing down?
Well, I read today that 14% of restaurants in America have already said they are permanently closed.
Permanently closed. 14%, did you say?
Yeah.
That's insane. Wow.
So, you know, depends on how much funding's coming from the United States. I think over here, we're getting so much funding, and I'm sure you guys are seeing some similar actions taking place.
Very similar. The mortgage holiday payments, the furlough, it's very, very similar in the United States and in the UK. I mean, what are you having a lot of your tenants not able to pay rent? Are they still paying rent?
We are 96% occupied, and 95% of those people have paid their rent collected.
Why is that? How is it that all your tenants are still paying rent?
Great locations, great properties. We communicate with them and talk to them. We make deals. We make people feel good.
They might not be paying the full rent, but they're paying.
Also, well, no. Some people's actually, we went to some people that paid 15 months of rent in advance. Because we offered them we made offers to reach into the future and pull money forward toward us. Yeah. So you got to be really creative right now. You know, you got to be creative about how could I make something work?
Yeah. What do you think? You mentioned that you think there's a bit of an agenda, I think you said, behind this virus. Talk to me a little bit about that, because that is a little bit controversial, but it's also interesting. And I think a lot of people think it.
Well, I'm just saying we're going through one of the biggest wealth redistributions in the history of mankind.
So what's that going to look like?
So what that means is people in the middle class are basically having wealth taken from them.
Yeah.
And it's getting redistributed.
Yeah.
Everybody in America gets a $1,200 check. All right. It looks like everybody in America is going to get a $1,200 check, but what happens is what happens once you get the $1,200? Most of those people are going to go spend it on some stupid stuff. And this is what the wealthy know. Yeah, give them all the money they want. They're not going to keep it. There's no plan to keep it. There's no plan for wealth. There's no plan to invest. You can't get money from me because I take my money, I get rid of money, and I buy real property with it.
Yeah. So
the only way to get the money from me is to take my property from me. And the only way to take the property from me is if I don't pay my mortgage payments and my property taxes.
Do you think they could ever take property off? Do you think the government could ever just start taking property off people because it gets so bad?
They don't want to do that. There's still homes back from 2008, 12 years ago, that people have been laid on for 12 years. They haven't taken back. They don't want to take people's property back. They can't even manage what they have. Hell, we can't even manage the roads here. Yeah.
How do you compare what's going on now to the 2008 crash? I know it's very different, but what would you say?
Yeah, faster, deeper, bigger, wider, global, ugly.
Yeah. And you mentioned you think there's a depression coming, like a world depression, but then you also said that you think real estate, certainly your real estate, is going to go up a lot over the next 10 years. What sort of impacts, what do you mean when you say depression, and what kind of an impact can you see that looking like?
So 29 took 2 years to really bottom out.
Yeah.
2008 took 18 months. My real estate got me through 2008. Okay. The renter market improved. You guys look at real estate different over there in the UK than we do here.
In what way?
You mostly look at stuff to buy and sell. Y'all look at stuff to buy and you buy something, fix it up and sell it to somebody else. I'm buying stuff to keep it. It's monopoly here.
Yeah.
For me, it's rent, right? I just want you to land on my place and pay me rent until I break you. If you just keep going around the board, dude, and I got the most expensive rental, I got stuff. If I can keep it and you keep going around the board, sooner or later, you're going to have to pay me rent. And sooner or later, because in monopoly, you don't get more money. You just get the money you started with.
Yeah.
And the only way to create income in monopoly is rent.
Yeah.
So if you don't own anything, or you just own a place, but you don't have any rental income from the place, you're probably going to end up losing your property in monopoly. And the same thing is true in life.
Yeah. Are you investing in anything else outside of real estate right now?
Well, we invest in our business. We invest a lot of money in advertising and marketing.
Yeah.
We're also looking at other companies. 10X Ventures we created early last 2019.
Mm-hmm.
We've already partnered with some companies in the healthcare industry to help them go from what they are to 10X that company.
Yeah.
And then we take a piece of the upside of that deal.
Yeah, so that's business still. So you've got your real estate, your business, and you're not interested in anything like stocks, gold, silver, oil.
I don't do stocks. I look at gold every once in a while. Every time I look at gold, I think about Bitcoin though. So I am getting actually more bullish on the Bitcoin game.
Oh yeah, are you invested in Bitcoin?
I own some Bitcoin because people paid me to speak at their deals in Bitcoin, and I never got rid of it.
Nice. So you've got quite a bit of Bitcoin saving up.
Not quite a bit, but I mean, relatively, it's a decent amount.
Yeah.
If it goes to $1 million of Bitcoin, it'll be a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember when they were talking about Bitcoin being $100,000, a BTC, and I'm like, now they're talking about it one day being $1 million. We printed more money in the month of March in America than the entire reserve of all the Bitcoin in the world.
That's incredible that we printed. So, and even here in the UK, I mean, we just printed hundreds of billions in cash. How's that affect these people that, I'm seeing a lot of advice at the moment saying, save your pennies and all that kind of stuff. And whilst I understand it to a point, because you do want to have stuff that's a bit liquid. Luckily, like Bitcoin's pretty liquid. My money's all tied up in real estate. Right now, I can't get my money. Right now, I can't refinance because lenders aren't going out to properties. So I've got a lot of money tied up. I'm okay, but I can understand why people say it's nice to have a little bit of money, a little bit of reserves. I mean, what do you think of all that?
No, I don't think I think you're good that you're illiquid.
You think it's good that I haven't got access to much money?
As long as you're not over leveraged. As long as you're not over leveraged in your properties.
No, not at all. In fact, last time I saw you, I think the big thing that you told to me was to be more leveraged because I had lots of properties that were all paid off, which I worked out was actually against my own beliefs, against what got me to the point I'm at now. But there's people saying, it worries me that people are talking about save money when they're printing so much money.
Yeah, it's worth nothing. Like, what are they saving pennies for? Pennies don't buy anything. So you need, even if you're saving money, you need why are you saving money? You need the money to do something. The money should produce money.
Yeah.
And the problem today is that money's not producing money. Dude, those properties are going to get you through this contraction. Yeah, like I know a guy, he's got a bunch of very low end stuff. And he always tried to convince me to buy that stuff. He called me the other day and says, now I understand why you didn't buy that stuff.
Is that because his tenants aren't paying rent?
He's 15% collected.
Wow.
I'm 96% collected. I'm 95% collected.
Yeah, I mean, mine aren't low end. Mine are like working class. But the low end, the people that have got benefit tenants, they're actually okay because the government are just paying the rent still. So I've got some real slum landlord friends that have got dodgy properties, dodgy tenants on benefits, and they're actually absolutely fine right now because the council are just paying their rent.
Yeah.
But so what does somebody do right now? I mean, in this situation, I know it's a broad general question, but what's your main message on your heart right now to people in this time?
Dude, I would pay people. I would look at the things, just like I said, about number one, find out what and who you need to cut.
Yeah.
Same thing I would tell a household. What and who do you need to cut from your life? Is there some obligation you have that you don't need going forward? Cut it.
Yeah.
Financial. Is there people in your life that you could afford to have in January and you can't afford to have them anymore? You got to cut them. You got to boss up right now. You got to do the tough thing. If you want to take care of your tribe, your group, your family, you have to do leadership. It requires tough decisions, unpopular decisions. And number one, you got to figure out who and what to cut. Number two, now what are you going to go after? Now that you've cut, how do I start converting liabilities to assets, other people's liabilities to my assets? You know, do I make sure that my assets don't become liabilities? Because they can in these times. Things can get flipped.
Yeah.
So if you got a car you don't need anymore, if you got art you don't need anymore, if you need money, right? You need money to live. You got to get that part handled. And then you're like, okay, once I get that, do I have customers that can help me? You should be out looking how to buy real estate right now, would be my suggestion to you.
Yeah.
You should expand your portfolio right now.
You know, folks that are saying, wait until the crash happens, wait until everything drops and then go in. What do you think about that?
Well, you're not going to be relevant by the time that happens. I'll just say this, if you didn't buy anything last year, the chance of you buying something this year are almost nilch to none.
Yeah.
If you can't buy when things are positive, how the hell are you going to gun up when things are negative?
Yeah.
First, today you need more money down. Your income's going to be less. The income from the real estate, way more, 1,000 times more uncertainty.
Yeah.
The debt's harder to acquire. You have to have better credit. And most importantly, you have to have management experience in this environment. Otherwise, the lender is going to be like, yeah, you got the money, the leverage is fine, we like the property, but you don't have the experience. So, oh, we're going to wait until it bottoms out. Okay, all right, whatever. Like you're not going to, you know, the great stuff, there are so many people lined up waiting for the great stuff.
Yeah.
You're going to be like 3 blocks down the list.
Yeah. That's so
and
true.
Then you still don't have enough confidence to pay the right price to get the deal.
I saw this in 2009 when I was buying in 2009 when I got started, and everyone was saying, oh, we're going to wait. But then suddenly 2011, where I was, everything's shooting up again. And all these people that were saying we're going to wait have now missed it, because when it goes up fast. And there's suddenly a queue of people. It only has to start going up a little smidge, and suddenly there's a whole queue of people then. Yeah,
and none of that has happened yet. Just so you know, like there's not been any adjustment because of what you said earlier, which is the debt market. The debt market's frozen. So you're not having transactions right now. That's the worst thing that can happen right now. There's no transactions. So the other thing that's going to delay this cycle is that all the money that the governments are funding, so it gives people longer to not pay.
Yeah.
So this cycle, there probably will not be anything to buy for probably six to 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
So what you would be looking for right now is stuff where guys have to sell it because they're in a fund, and they had some agreement with their investors that this was the year they were going to sell, and they can't sell. It can't be any later than it's in their documents. It's in their
Yeah, I understand. So people
the agreement with the
people that have to sell right now are going to be having to take a massive hit.
Yeah.
So
not because of their finances, but because of the agreement they had with the money, the investors.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, that definitely makes a lot of sense. What do you think as well? I know we'll wrap up kind of on this question really, but in terms of the news and stuff, there's just so much negativity going on, and that's just worldwide about everything. How do you maintain a positive, opportunistic, upbeat attitude during times like this?
You know, I struggle with it just like everybody else. This is not an easy time. It's scary. Uncertainties everywhere. Bad news everywhere. The thing that I continue to do is, I was just telling Jared a few minutes ago, we're just thinking too small. You know, we're thinking too small. And so like, I'm like, where am I going? Where am I trying to get to? Because I could be seduced into a beach right now pretty easily. I'm gonna go lay on the beach and I don't need to do all this, you know. And then I'm like, wait a minute, there's no beaches open either. Like there's the Caribbean shut down, the damn
Yeah.
St. Bart's is shut down. There's everywhere you go, there's problems, right? So there's no getting away from that. Where am I going?
Yeah.
So the thing I need to wake up every morning, hey, I'm still going for $10 billion worth of real estate, maybe 20.
Yeah.
Why not 30? So how do I do that? Got to stay relevant. Got to keep paying my bills. Got to take care of my properties. Got to show people that I know how to get through tough shit. You can't expand if you fold every hand. You can't win if you fold every hand. So you got to play the cards you got right now. It's tough. But I have to keep making contacts with people that can actually benefit me in 21, 22, 23. I got to be a beacon of possibility and potential and future. So that when things start lifting off and we can do deals, I'm relevant to the conversation. Yeah. And I got to cross my fingers, dude, and just believe that. I got to believe that things are going to get better. Like if you just study a little bit of history, we've survived everything. We have World War I, World War II. Look what London's been through over the years, man. So we're going to get through this. The question is for your audience, when you get through this, because you're getting through this, there's no not getting through this. You will get through this. What are you going to be like on the other side? Bigger, better, more unstoppable, more confident? Will you have learned a lot about yourself, about you're better? Not just learn about yourself, but like you're better because of this event. You have to lean into this thing, say, I'm going to make myself better right now. Yeah. Or are you going to end up smaller, shrunk up, depressed, beat up? It's really your choice. You go to prison, we've all seen the prison show where the guy goes to prison and he finally gets his house. He finally gets his shit together in prison, gets in the best shape of his life, starts reading, becomes religious or spiritual because of it. He decided, man, I'm going to make this time. I'm going to make this jail time into that pivotal moment of my life where I become the person I'm intended to be. Yeah, that's great. That's really good. Well, I really appreciate your time again. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Hopefully in Miami in the sunshine next time. Appreciate you, brother. We're doing an event here in July. Great. We'll be the first people to do live events in the United States. July, August, September, and October. We have. You mean this year, July? 100%.